Hey everyone, good evening. I just need to share my screen real quick. All right, I think y'all can see that now. I'm just gonna pull up my chat to make sure that I can see all that y'all have. Just make sure that I'm live and stuff. I'm still pretty new to all this, so thanks for bearing with me. So looks pretty good. Okay. Well, welcome back to another episode of Min Max in Excel with Max on Daggerheart. A quick overview. Daggerheart's a tabletop RPG by Darrington Brest, and they just opened up into open beta a couple of weeks ago, or like about a week ago. And if you're interested, you just go to this website and you can enter in your email, and I download all the materials for it. So it's currently free. You just give me an email address, and then you can download all the materials, all the GM, all the player materials in this. A complete manuscript that, as you can see here, is 377 pages. So it contains everything they have so far. But in some previous episodes, I built this kind of class input area, an output area that includes all of our different types of base stats and class stats. And I've not included anything from Foundation or from Ancestry yet, because that's a little fluffy, or also from your community. But I have included armor, and then your primary and secondary weapon stats. And I've also inputted all the T0 weapons, and also all the T0 armor. And so we can pull all this information into a couple of different calculators here. And so first we have the damage calculator, which I've gotten some great feedback on. It would be great to not just have a average damage, but to have a impact per different types of monsters. And so I'd like to make a tab in the future with a whole bunch of monsters, and then I could add a average number of attacks it would take to kill each type of monster. Also did some brief analysis of like the proficiency against like hit chance or increasing your attributes. And then in our last episode, we did a first draft of our survivability. I would like to improve this in our time tonight. My first thought is to add a max damage and a min damage, not just average. And so I'm kind of curious what that could be. And then I'm going to put that here as a minimum damage per attack, average damage per attack, and then a max damage per attack. and then kind of see how many that we would survive, like with and without armor for each one of those, and then also with armor. Um, and then after we have those, I think we could even take it one step further and kind of do a quick analysis, and this might be on a different tab, but what type of increase on our a level up. And so let me just open up the rogue real quick. And so on my level up, I could choose to increase my thresholds of my damage. I could choose to get an armor slot or a +1 to my evasion, or I could get an extra hit point slot or an extra stress slot. And so I'm kind of curious what impacts that would have on our survivability, right? If I got +1 to armor or a +1 to evasion. And obviously that's going to differ depending on the different enemies that we use here. And so after that, if we have time, it'd be great to kind of pull in some different types of monsters and kind of put them on their own tab, and then have a drop down here that says you're going to choose your monster, and it would automatically fill these out for us. And so whole lot to do, but like we'll jump in with our first thing and start adding some min and max damage, and then we'll I can see how we do like without armor, and then I can see how we do like with armor. All right, so with that, I will go ahead and get going. Let me clear this one other thing. Okay. And I think the first thing I'll do is I'm going to want to break this up into 3 groups of rows. So I'm going to add a whole bunch of new rows here just to give me some space to work. And I'll probably do something like this. So all of these are average. Yeah, like I might just be able to take this whole thing, right, and plunk it down here in the middle. And I'll copy this, and I'll put one above, and I'll put one below. And I'm going to say, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to say delete row, and I'm going to say minimum damage per hit. Okay. And all I'm doing here is I'm taking a average of the roll, but and then I add in I multiply it by B4, by how many dice I have, and then I add my attack damage bonus. All right, so this one's going to be a whole lot easier. I'm just going to say it's just this, right? It doesn't matter how big my damage dice is. It could be a D12, it could be a D100, it could be a D8. But if my minimum roll is always a 1, and I'm always going to multiply that by my proficiency is my minimum damage, and then I just add on my attack damage, and so that's my minimum damage per hit. And now I saw some other things change here. I just want to make sure that I don't have anything. Okay, so these are being referenced incorrectly, but it's okay. We'll fix that later. Okay. All right, so now that's done. Average damage. Let's just kind of double check our equations here. We do our, I'm sorry, this is average damage per crit. So we take this number and we say plus. And see, the bad thing about crits is it's always the max times the number of die. And so that's always going to be pretty high. There's not much we can do about that. And I should probably be clear here. Let me just add another, kind of column and say that all of this, I like the, kind of dark lines. Assumes a hit. Okay. Then this is where we begin to include our percent chance to hit. Okay. And that's calculated off of our actual evasion score of our character, which is right here. Right. And that gets imported from our other tab. And so this will dynamically change kind of based off of what you enter here. And also the attack modifier and kind of damage dice and everything of your enemy, right? And so just for example's sake, I'm going to go move this over, and you can see all these numbers will change, right? Okay. So if I come back here, average damage per attack. So I think this is where I want to start breaking this out and say minimum min and I'm gonna make this green because I want my minimum to be green, and I want my maximums to be red. Okay. So then again, this is my minimum damage and my minimum. Okay. And I'll just go ahead and do max. Ooh. Max. I need to get rid of this because that's confusing. And I also just realized that I need to change this. Okay. And so now my minimum damage per crit is I do like to go and look up mine. It looks like I do my chance to hit minus my chance to crit times my damage, and then I add that to my chance to crit plus my crit damage. And I think that's actually going to be exactly the same. So let me see if I can add some dollar signs here to save myself some time. A17 I want to move, E3 I don't want to move, and B17 I want to move. So I can say copy and paste, and actually I can copy and paste that down here too. And I wonder if I can also, oh no, I'm actually going to have to think through this. My max damage per hit is not any of this average whatever. It's just going to be whatever my damage dice is times my proficiency plus my attack damage. And then my crit is that damage plus, oh, it should just be that damage times 2, right? No, because that includes my attack damage. All right. And so this is just my damage dice times my proficiency. Okay. All right. So now this is where it gets a little crazy. I think I say if this is over this threshold, over that threshold, I think everything's good here except I want to change C17 to B14. And so I'm just going to update that on each one of these. And that should automatically fix it to be correct. And then I want to change it to 20. So C17, C20, C20, C20. Okay. I think my the calculations here aren't right. So if I lock in D31, I think I can copy and paste this, and it should. I lost my colors though, but that's not bad to get back. Okay, and now I want to subtract my armor. So again, I can put some dollar signs on this, and it should automatically subtract my armor from the attack, and again it's now checking if this is above my damage threshold. And so I want to change 17 to 14 here. So F17 is 14, F17 is 14, F17 is 14, F17 is 14. Okay. And then I want to change F17 to 20. F17, 20, 20, and 20. Okay. Doesn't look like it has that big of an impact because I only have 3 armor, right? And so now I think obviously this is wrong, but we probably just need to add dollar signs on this and then copy paste. Now I'm beginning to realize there's a little bit of a bug here. This is assuming that I can use armor every time, right? And so I basically need to say I can use armor for the number of armor slots that I have, and like modulate that, right? And so I want to say okay, how am I going to do that? All right. I basically want to say subtract HP damage with armor times armor slots from HP, then subtract normal damage from HP. Okay, I think I have the first part done, but then I'm not sure how to then count against this. And so I'm going to say this is, instead of subtracting, I want to basically add, right? And so I'm going to say this equals, the damage that I'm going to take times the number of armor slots. Right? And then I want to find out if all of this, I need to do times -1 to make it positive. If all of that is greater than my health, I'm dead. I need to calculate old formula, right? If it's not greater than that, still alive, subtract main damage. Okay. All right, so in this scenario, I'm still alive. I think I can copy and paste this whole thing. And let's see. Well, okay, sadly I survived all. Let's say 15. Huh. Damage per attack. Let's say 20. Let's say 25. Okay. Okay. I'm going to Control Z to go back, and I'm going to grab this old formula. All right, this is the old formula. And I realize that I need to make it G14, not G20. Okay. So let's make this 100 just to double check. Yeah. And so I only survived 2 rounds, which, it actually makes a lot of sense. Okay. Now, if I'm still alive, I want to do my number. Oh God, this is such a mess. I really hate kind of big equations like this, but I'm just going to put the whole number in here for now. I'm sorry. I'm going to get rid of my comparison. All right, so I have 3 HP left, right? And so now I basically want to know how many of these it will take to then get below 0. And so I want to do 3. That's a good way to do this. There's got to be an equation, right? I have 3 and I have that. And so I wonder if I could do that over this. And like I basically have 3 more. And I can then add them together. I didn't mean to do that. Just gonna drag this down and see what it does to these others. I think that works. So I'm gonna do my number. Over my damage. So I'm gonna do this. I'm actually gonna get rid of this. That over my expected damage. And then I can add them together. I'm going to subtract them from each other. Yeah. Because they're both negatives. Let's check it. Oh. Totally messed up on something. Let's see. Okay. So that's a 6. G17. Oh. Okay. If my number of armor slots, oh, I am totally multiplying that wrong. If my number of armor slots times my is greater than my HP, I'm still, no, I'm dead. Right, and then I just do it. If my else, I want to say my armor slots times that is going to be the amount of damage I've taken. So, oh god, I'm so confused. Yeah, I totally botched this. No. Okay, let's just restart. If this is 100, I'm dead and I only live 2 rounds. Okay. Ooh. All that's still right. Now I want to say hey man, okay, thanks for the comment. I appreciate you being here. And I just totally broke my chat, so I can't see anything else you said. All right. Yeah, so basically what I'm doing here is I'm trying to create like an average attack, a minimum attack, and then a max attack. And right now, I'm just trying to find an elegant way to say, even if I've blocked damage with my armor slots, how many rounds do I survive? And if I've already gone through all of my health points, even if I use my armor slots, as you can see here, I'm now dead, right? Like I've kind of died in 2 rounds. But if I'm still alive, I want to calculate how many like health points do I have left, which I believe I have here. Okay, it's now my health left, but now I need to find out how many times I can survive a normal attack. And I believe that's this, right? And I'm going to do times -1 to make it positive. And now I need to add that to the original number that I had survived. So let's just grab all of this again with the parentheses. And so that should make sense. Now let me copy it down, and I shouldn't survive more times here, right? And so that's what I'm confused about. So anytime this happens, I end up dividing out the equation. And so I'm just going to do all this. And if you paste up here, it actually doesn't change the addresses that you're going after. All right, so that's the damage, or that's the number of rounds that I can survive. I'm comparing that against my total number of HP. And is this the rounds I can survive, or is this the total number of? It's the number of rounds that I could use armor. Yeah, it's the amount of HP damage I took. Okay. And so amount of HP damage. And then with armor. Total HP. So now, if I'm dead, I just want it to be the... Oh, see, that's where my mistake is. Because this is the amount of HP damage I took, not the number of rounds. No, it's the number of rounds. It's my health over my attack is the number of rounds that I would survive. And now let's move on to the next part of the equation. Okay, so now I'm on to this, which is the insane part. There's a problem. I agree. Okay. So I think I need to divide this up. G and so I do the amount of hit point damage, but I also say divided by D14. And I think that's right. Like, I think what this is saying is number of rounds I survive without armor. Because it's my health remaining divided by a damage that I'm gonna take. And so now all I want to do is I want to add see, I think this is my error here, because I don't want to add the amount of HP damage I take. I want to add the number of rounds I've already survived, which is actually, thankfully, a lot easier. Add armor slots. And so just make this equal to my armor slots. I think that's the right thing to do. Okay. So now this whole crazy thing here on the end, I'm already getting a number of rounds I'm going to survive, but instead of this equation here, I just need to add my armor slot count. Because I know for sure that's the number of rounds that I had. And there we go. Alright, so let's slowly ramp this up to see if we get some yeah. Oh. It should not be remaining like that. What's my bug here? So I was at 7, 6, 5. So for some reason at 5, I only survived 4.5 attacks. But then I go to 6, and now I survive more attacks. There's a bug in my logic here. I mean, all this seems correct. That seems correct. A14, B17. C20, 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 C17. A33. Huh. Yeah, see, this is now crossed into this, and so I should survive less, not more. Amount of HP damage. Oh, I would already be dead here. For some reason, oh, great is greater than or equal to. See? That's the ticket. If it's greater than or equal to 6, I'm already dead. It's not just if it's greater than 6. And I didn't run into that here because I jumped over that. I just went from kind of doing a couple of HP damage, to doing way too much, right? Okay, so let's get our colors back so that we can clearly denote. Okay, and so now we can see that with this character against this enemy, ooh, that's a problem. Oh, no, it's actually accurate because the amount of damage that's being done is super, super low. But I should probably should probably put like a max on this, because if you do less than minor damage, you take a stress, and in order to get an actual hit point damage, you have to get all the way up to your stress cap, which I put as this number here. What's a better way to do that? Should I just make it I think I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make it one over your stress cap. Ooh. Yeah. And I'm gonna say -1 over your stress cap. Ooh. Oh. I can't copy and paste because these are all hard coded. If I do like 1 over your stress cap, I mean, that's pretty darn accurate. Now, I don't get why this one's only 5.5 when I'm it should be greater than this, right? And so this is another thing for us to consider. And now I kind of wish I hadn't deleted all of this out here. But I'm computing the there's an extra I wonder if that's my problem. Is there's a I don't think just multiplying by a -1 is going to change anything. Ooh. But I'm basically calculating the number of rounds. It was like HP damage being done to me, right? And so that's only 2.5. But now I need to add, now I'm only adding the number of rounds left, and that's not helpful. I got an elegant solution. I'm going to add my total attacks survived. So I'm going to add, I don't know why it's not, I'm going to add this minus my armor slots, because the armor slots are the number of rounds that I've already accounted for here. And it should be plus maybe. I'm not sure if that's going to work, but let's see. No. I do think it's minus. Now I've gotten into like this weird place again. The amount of hit points I've already taken, right? Which is, again, I should probably clean this up to say E. So that's the amount of damage I've already taken. And also, I probably need to adjust this equation, because if the damage is less than 0, then don't reduce HP. I'll actually say is less than or equal to 0. Because like right now, this is actually doing below. Yeah, like this is doing below 0. It's like this shouldn't be impacting my health at all, which is going to make this even more complex. Ugh. What a pain. Okay. I think I just said I'm just going to add on my armor rounds, and that does work, except for when my damage is super low like this. I think I need to go ahead and break this out, because this is like my and like I don't know why this is all like negative. That's so weird. Like I'm just gonna change this to be like 1, 2, and 3. That's just gonna make everything so much easier. And I'm just gonna make this a 1 and not a -1, because all the negatives were just kind of freaking me out. Okay, I was wondering where that was coming from. Okay. So, I mean, this isn't technically correct. It's my stress cap, which is right. So, I mean, it's in effect, kind of 30, and that's fine. I'm okay just leaving that for the time being. Now, my damage after I've mitigated with my armor is this. And so now I need to, before all of this, I need to check to see if this, I think I need to add a comma so it knows I want to. if this is less than or equal to 0, then 0. Now that's not going to change this for, it's not going to change this one. Or it might. I don't get why. Oh. It's because it's looking for a 14. Okay. All right, so now this is going to say attack survive without armor because it's looking for the damage that's been done to me, which is currently 0, and then it's only adding my armor slots, which is, again, like not very elegant. I need to I'm going to drag this out and I'm going to make a whole nother column here if it will let me grab this whole thing. Oh, I think I can do Control V. Yeah. Okay. I now want to say min HP damage taken, average HP damage taken, and max HP damage taken. And this is really just going to be the amount of damage times the number of armor slots. Is that right? I don't know why this is, oh, it's still negative because of that last one. Okay. And we'll just throw that in there. Okay. And so now I want to know health minus this. Again, we might like hide these columns here in a second, but this is like HP remaining. Equals that, oh, equals my health minus that. And so now what I can do is, if I'm not calculating my health remaining, I can basically just run this equation again on my health remaining plus my number of armor slots. All right, so let's try that out. Let's not do all this crazy mess. Like, let's just act like this is my... just gonna put a number in there. Let's just act like I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna say, but instead of D31, I want to use my health remaining, which is gonna be great. And I just add my armor slots. And now I should just be able to throw some dollar signs on this so it doesn't move. And I should be able to throw it in and we get all the right stuff. Okay, I'm gonna move these out of the way so they don't get hidden when I hide these rows. But, or I'm sorry, hide these columns. Okay, let's copy in some other enemies now and see how many. Yeah, all that looks right. That's great. Okay, and if it's below 0, I don't reduce HP. I don't need to do that over here because if you're not using armor slots, you're not going to be reducing the damage below 0. And so that doesn't matter. Only time that I need to be concerned about the 0 is if I'm actually reducing the damage below 0. And here's a great example. Let me go over to my inputs and I'm going to change my armor to full plate, and then we'll come back to survivability, and now we'll see probably not in this really hard enemy, but let me throw in this in between enemy. I reduce that one down way below 0, and on average I get pretty darn close to 0, but I would assume on this one I'm probably going to reduce the average damage below 0, right? And so now I don't take any. And so I can basically get 3 free rounds where I don't take any damage. And then I have 6 rounds where I only take 1 HP of damage, right? And so this is pretty awesome, unlike the survivability. So okay, and now that we've gotten there, I think that's a pretty good start. So either I can begin pulling in some enemies, but that's going to be super boring. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this sheet, and I want to make this a okay. I want to make this a evasion versus armor slot. Okay, what I'm curious about is I want to graph my survivability as it is, and then I want to compare that against my survivability if I had +1 to evasion or +1 to armor slots. Okay, and the reason I want to do that is every time you level up, you can decide to add 1 hit point slot. I should probably also do that, or add 1 to your armor or add 1 to your evasion. And then also these kind of thresholds. I think this is going to be super deterministic on the enemy that you're going against. If the average damage of the enemy just happens to go right underneath one of your thresholds, or like right above one of your thresholds, increasing that threshold by 1 or by 2 might have a huge impact in our charts here. But in the reality of the game, it's going to be super hard to measure that because each individual monster is going to have something different. And so I'd rather focus on something that's more straightforward to kind of like directly measure. And so I will go ahead and grab all this, and I'm gonna move it down. Ooh, I don't have enough space. I'm gonna add a whole bunch of rows. Because what I want to do is I want to leave this as my base. And I'm going to say this is my base case. And then I'm going to move all this up. And I should probably even do it like this, where it's like all of, I can't grab the whole row if I'm going to do that. If I just move this all up like that to more better utilize the space, and then I can grab these and move them up. Okay. All right, so all right. If this is my base case, oh, it's gonna all blow up, isn't it? Because I don't have dollar signs on it. Okay, that one blew up. This one shouldn't have blown up. I guess it's A10, E3. Oh no, it blew up because the one beside it blew up. Okay, let's delete these, or let's just kind of like recopy and paste over top and see if it will fix. And it did. So this is the only one I gotta fix. Just put some dollar signs here. Ooh. Okay, so now I should be able to copy paste this and be good. What? Oh, it's also in the first one. It's also in the first one. Whoops. I got a new keyboard as well, so that's not really helping with my typing. And I do know there's a hotkey for that, but I don't know why. It's kind of fun for me to do this. Okay. Let's copy paste again and see how this goes. Hot dog. Okay. Now I want this to be my plus, or my armor +1 case. I'm going to be extra clear. Armor slot +1. So what I need to do is find in here where I've coded my armor, which I think is right here. I just need to see +1 on the end of each one of these. And that's just adding an extra armor slot where I get to mitigate the damage that I'm going to mitigate. I just get to do it for an extra round, right? And so that should be pretty straightforward. It should almost always be a kind of +1 round. It's not necessarily the case though. Actually, it is also going to be. Well, no, it's not, because if I don't reduce the armor, or I'm sorry, if I don't reduce the damage over a damage threshold, it's not going to have any impact. Let me give you an example. If I throw in a harder enemy here, here, let me just add another 10 onto this. 11. Huh. Yes, that means that my equation's wrong, because if my damage is over my threshold, so D, I need to unhide these. See, we're still finding bugs, but this is why we do it. Okay. HP remaining after HP remaining is -3. I'm already dead. So I need to go back and fix this over here. Alright, so let's just make this like 1,000, right? Like, I'm gonna die in 2 hits. Oh. Alright, this did it right. Why did this do it right when the new one did it wrong? Oh, because I added 1. Yeah, I can't just add 1. Because... Okay. Alright, see now, like, we get to feel better about ourselves because there is no bug. We did do it right. What we need to do is just add in another round here where we where's our D9? Yes, this is where we need to add our 1, is in here. Okay, D9 plus 1. And I need to make this in parentheses because it's number of times that I was able to do it. It's not Now I can straighten this out. I can't take 6 damage in one round though. So I need to put a max damage on it. Oh, that's going to be interesting too, because if I had 4 armor slots here, or 5, or 6, oh. Yeah, I can't take 9. I can't take 9 damage. But for some reason this works. If I say the amount of damage I took over this is like -3 plus the number of armor slots that I have. I only survived 2, which is actually correct, which is kind of funny, but that's computing terribly. I'm basically getting super lucky here. I need to undo this, and so I'm actually pulling that data again. Huh. I need to basically account for more edge cases, because like even over here, if I take 1,000 damage but I have 5 armor slots, I shouldn't be able to take 9 damage. And after the first 2, it should just be 2, right? Armor slots times HP damage. Oh, this is HP remaining, which is okay, as long as this ends up being below 0, which it does. Because I should probably just put an if on this, just to be safe, like if I'm trying to figure out why this works. Because the amount of health I have is basically divided by the amount of attacks. And like that's what my attacks survived should be. So I'm thinking it's something like instead of just outright doing like my HP remaining minus, or HP remaining divided by that, which is -6, right? I mean, I just gotta find out. Oh, wait. I'm sorry, -3. And then I add in my armor slots. And for some reason that works. I don't get why. It might just be the number of times it goes through. That's wild how that works, though. I think I got really lucky with that. Because it should be that I test this not just against armor slots, right? It's I'm just amazed that this actually computes out to be accurate. Because I'm counting the the max HP damage that I could have taken. But even with this, I'd be dead in 2 rounds because like my HP is only 6. And so it truly is like I should add a whole nother thing here. Like rounds survived with armor is equal to my health divided by my damage that I'm taking. Right? And I need to put dollar signs on that. Okay. And let's put this back to a normal number. I'll put an if on this. If this is greater than 0, then do this. Else equal it to your armor slots. Oh. Okay, so let's just add 20 onto this. Alright, so now I survive. I can't survive 6 rounds with armor because it's just my armor slots. It's my health. Oh, divided by that. Oh. Yeah, it's it's kind of a tough issue because I'm kind of basically trying to resolve 3 different cases. If, or maybe 4. If 0 damage after armor applied. If dead after 2 rounds. If dead, or a kind of better way to say this, a dead before using all armor slots. And I'm just going to change this for after armor slot use. Yeah, I think maybe like for my really small brain, I might need to a third case is to use all armor slots and then try to figure out how many rounds I can survive. And I think I have that here because this is assuming alright, so this case is assuming I survive the attack and I use all my armor slots. Alright. And so this is this case. I can take my damage. I use 3 armor slots, which is this here. And I multiply that by my attack. So I'm basically saying I have survived. I'm gonna get rid of this entire column. And so now I'm checking, did I survive or not? And I did. Okay. And so now I say I take my health remaining and I divide it out by this and I add that to the number of rounds that I've already survived. And that's accurate. Okay. Alright, so now we've done this one. Now I want to do a pass where I don't take any damage. I need to increase this and so that I take a little bit more damage here. Okay. Okay, this is perfect. I'm going to add a couple of, I don't know. Okay. So now this is perfect, where I will, oh no, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change this to plate to make it easier on me. Alright, so over here, I take 1 damage. Over here, I take 0. Okay. And so, over my number of armor slots, I take 0 damage on each use. And then I have my hit points remaining, which is all of them. And now I do my hit points remaining plus my armor slots. That's the number of rounds that I'm going to survive. So now this one's done. Okay. It's just this one. Alright. And so, let's just say this is 1,000. Each time, I take 3 damage, which in 2 rounds is going to kill me. Right? It's like what I need to do here is I need to check to see, is this greater than, or is this, is this greater than my HP, or is my HP less than 1? If my HP is less than 1, I've already died. And now I need to calculate how many rounds that I'll survive, right? So, let's try to figure out how to calculate how many rounds I will survive. It's probably my health divided by the number of attacks I'm taking, right? So let's just add this in. If my HP is less than 1, it means I've died. And I want to take my health divided by my incoming attack. Else, I want to do my normal thing. And now I need to figure out D31 needs $signs on it. I think everything else is good. So let's copy, paste, and paste. Make this yellow. Ooh, not that yellow. Make this red. Okay. So let's go back to, I think it was like 25 was a good number. Yeah, so over here I take 3 damage, and over here I take 1 because I'm using my armor. But then if it's the max damage, even if I use my armor, the attack is still over my threshold, so I take 3 damage and I only survive 2 rounds. I think I have figured this one out. I think we are done. Okay. Now that we've cleared that, let's find a way to make this all nice again. Hide columns. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and fix these because it's going to be a problem after I copy the slide again. So let me just go ahead and do this. $sign, 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 $sign. Alright, well that was a toughie. So let's copy this name and duplicate that sheet and delete this sheet. Yes, I'm sure. Okay, now let's, I'm trying to move this around again to make it look nice. Up like that. I'm actually going to move all the damage thresholds up there too, right by it, if it'll fit. I think I can get rid of this and then actually make this fit a little bit more nicely. Like that, maybe. Okay. Now, again, this is my base case. And let's copy, paste, and let's make this my armor slot plus +1 case. Okay. Now, I think in these hidden columns we have some magical powers, because it should, if we just add on a +1 to this armor slot, everything else should automatically convert. Let's just see. +1 and oh, I'm editing the wrong one, aren't I? This is not my base case. Okay, undo, undo, undo. Let's come down here. +1, and I'm actually gonna, oh, not that. I'm actually gonna copy paste this. All right. So it looks like it did something crazy. If my I-24 is less than when I've died, which is not true, so then it goes to this, which is HP remaining divided by this. Oh, I mean, that's okay, because it's basically saying I'm gonna die in 3 rounds, not 4. In order to make this a little bit neater, what we could do is say round down. I think there's a round there's a function for this. It looks like it might be floor. A rounds a number down to the nearest integer multiple. Floor int is the one I'm looking for. See, there is a round equation. It just wasn't popping up for me. I'll just say int, because we know that in these we are always going to be in the number of total rounds. We can't do like a half round. But yeah, I mean, this feels like a gold plating thing, but I'll just go ahead and put it in there, and we'll come back to add it to everything. So I'm actually going to add this over on my to-do. I'm going to say add to anything with rounds. Okay. So that's my increase on armor slot. And see, now I can finally prove the point that I had earlier, which was, I think I need to add one column above here. Yeah. I don't love this, because I'm gonna hide these columns. I'm just gonna make some extra rows here. I hate to be that guy, but I'm gonna be that guy for just a minute. Okay. Yeah, but this is a great example of, like, why we did all that, kind of complex, all that complex math and stuff, because at times it depends on where the damage thresholds and things are, because you see here, it looks like it's actually gone backwards. Oh, I need to add in the +1 here too. Because I'm pulling the number of armor slots. If I'm already dead, I'm just going to count it, right? Like, that works here. If I live, I want to see my remaining health against this, plus my number of armor slots, +1. Okay. +1. And +1. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I kind of wanted to point out that at times it will increase your survivability, and at times it doesn't. Like, here it looks like you take 3 damage, but then you run out of armor, and then you get hit again, you take 3 damage, and then you die because you only have 6 health. But if this damage is lower, let's just say it's 10, now that extra armor slot actually gives you a whole nother round. Or like up here in this higher damage, it actually doesn't, right? I'm going to put int on these as well, just for clarity's sake. Okay. Put int here. Okay. I might need to add them here too, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. I mean, like, it's interesting how, like, it just depends on, like, where the damage falls. If you get an extra round, or you don't, right? But now that we have that, let's take our base case again, and let's find out where we need to change it. For HP +1 case. Okay. So, HP damage, all that's pretty straightforward. this is my health. So I think I'm going to do +1 here. +1. And +1. And again, I think I need to put int on all of these things. That's so dumb, but at times I do like it how it will automatically add an ending parenthesis for you. And just paste and hit enter. Probably need to put an ending one on these because it has a closing bracket earlier and it might get confused. So on these okay. So now I still didn't survive more than 2 rounds, which is odd because I should. Oh, I think these need to be rounded up, not down. Because if I do 3 damage twice, that's going to be 6, and I'm going to have 1 damage remaining. So I probably need to do like round up. Oh, see, this is why. Round up. Let's see if it will automatically go up to decimal. This is important because it's exactly where we're going to find our differences. Because if you can survive even like with 1 hit point, it will then allow you to survive to a whole nother round. I don't know what I just did. Okay. Just gonna quickly spot check. Yeah. Okay. So I don't take any damage and I have 4 armor, and then I can survive 6 times, so that's going to be 10. That's right. And then over here I have +1. I take 3 rounds with armor, and then I survive 7 rounds, so that should be 10. I haven't completed this round though, because I need to, anywhere where there's a D15, I need to add 1. So Yeah, so D15 plus 1. And plus 1. And plus 1. And I need to also add it into here, because if you're already dead, I need to say D15 plus 1. D15 plus 1. And D15 plus 1. I'm doing that. I'm just gonna grab all of this and put it in the middle because it just looks nicer. Okay. Let's add this back to 25. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, check this out. Like, my armor's 9. And so I'm able to reduce the damage by 9 every single time I'm hit, right? And so in my base case, I reduce this. Well, if I don't use my armor at all, I just die in 2 rounds every time, right? Over here, I am able to reduce this damage. I'm able to reduce this damage by 9, which then puts that in between these 2 thresholds, and so I take 1 damage. And it's now, I take that 1 damage over my 3 armor slots, and so I'm able to survive 3 rounds of that plus 1 round of this. Right? 1, 2, 3, and then 4. If it's an average attack, I'm now above this, and so I take 2 damage. And so I take that 3 times and I die. Right? After 3 rounds of actually using my armor, I die. And then like here, I reduce the damage, but I don't reduce it far enough. I take 3 damage per attack, and then I die in 2 rounds. And then almost exact same thing here, but because I have like 1 extra armor slot, I'm able to reduce the damage, like, 1 more time, and so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds here of my 1 damage, and then I take 1 hit of 3 and I die. But now, if I have an extra HP, right, I survive 3 rounds even without using any armor, because like the maximum damage that you can take in any 1 round is going to be 3. And so because my health goes from 6 to 7, I immediately get a whole nother round, right? And so like HP is really, really important. And then if I add that to my armor, it doesn't really help me that much. Like, I still take all the damage basically, but I get an extra round, I guess. No, I don't. I take 3 damage 3 times, or I'm sorry, I take 1 damage 3 times, and then I take 3 damage once, and that's going to take me up to 6 HP of damage, and then I take 3 damage again, and that
is only 5 rounds. But on this average, I take 2 damage 3 times, which is going to be 6, and then I have like 1 HP remaining, and it gets taken out here. And then up here, if I'm taking max damage, I still get 3 rounds, right? And so that's huge. That's a huge benefit in order to get a plus 1 HP. I can't wait to graph this. I hope you all are also experiencing my excitement. I'm gonna add some more rows, and I want to find a color that's gonna make this pop. Let's say something like, ugh, that's a little bit too pop. I don't know. I kind of used that earlier. It's not bad. I don't know what y'all think. Okay. Yeah, let's throw in a couple of example bad guys. I mean, like there's not really any change. I mean, like, obviously, if you have armor or if you have extra HP, it's gonna help you. I mean, kind of here, it's kind of the same. I mean, there's not really like a big difference. And let's go into these higher levels. Yeah, I mean, like, this right here is where the big difference is. Is if you get hit by a really big bad guy and you're taking 3 damage each time, like, that 1 extra AP is just kind of truly sets you apart. And then, I mean, imagine if you're not wearing full plate, right? And so let's go back to leather armor. Yeah, I mean, now you get an extra round at every single level, right? And adding an extra armor slot doesn't really give you anything, because you're still going to be taking too much damage. Yeah. Yeah, so HP just kind of seems like the way to go. Okay, now for the complicated one. And I know you're probably thinking, like, those weren't complicated. Yeah, they kind of were, but so now I want to look at if you increase your evasion by 1, right? And so we've done hit point and we've done armor. And so I want to do evasion real quick. So evasion plus 1 case. Now the damages here aren't going to change at all, but this a damage per attack is what's going to change really big, because we're going to change our chance to hit is actually going to be a different value. And I probably should have not pulled from this HP plus 1. I need to pull from the base case. Okay. And now I'm concerned that I pulled my HP case from my armor case, but let me just make sure. Yeah, I do not have a plus 1 on my armor as well. Okay. So this is going to be evasion plus 1 case. And hopefully it's going to be easier here
But what we really need to do is I'm pulling this A11 is what I need to change. Okay. And I think I'm going to do a quick test where I'm going to say equals +1. And I'm pretty sure if I increase my evasion and I say this equals this plus that, and I lock in. Okay. All right, here comes the fun part. I want to lock in that column, but not, no. I want to lock in that number, but not that column. And I want to lock in this column, but not that number. And so now when I drag down, it should do this. Why did it do that? Oh. That's not what I wanted at all. Okay. It's doing the evasion from up here, right? Attack modifier. Oh. Okay. I don't know why I did it that way, but I want these numbers to be, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I think I just confused myself. I'm going to say my evasion here is just going to be this +1. Because if like you look at this chance to hit, like you basically count the like in general with statistics, you count the number of times that your evasion, or in general with statistics, you count your number of successes over your total number of possibles. And so our total number of possible rolls against us is going to be 20. And we're going to add this attack modifier from the enemy onto that. And then we want to count the number of times where that roll plus its attack is greater than or equal to our evasion score. I don't know why I made this so complicated on myself. I think I was just, I don't know. A little confused. But yeah. These are basically all of our dice rolls. It's like our dice roll. And then our roll plus attack modifier. And so for this, I want to . I want to do this, but in place of A11, I want to basically put this whole equation, but I think that's going to be really annoying. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it here. And I need to make it a percent so it's clear. And instead of checking it against B11, I want to check it against my evasion here and divide that by my D20. And so now the question is, why is the number the same? Because if my evasion's, oh, there's a number missing here. Oh, because I hit it, maybe? No? What in the world? 1, 2, 3. I want to count this. There's only 19 numbers there. 10, 9. What in the world? Wow. I wonder if that's number. I wonder if that number's been missing the whole time. Well, it's not going to impact anything except this bottom attack number. But yeah, I don't know, pretty wild. Okay. So now I need to change my attack. So this should be 65%, and it should be 60. Now, like, the thing that I wanted to check is if I just add 1 and then I add one more and I add one more, am I always subtracting 5%? And I believe that I am, because I'm going to take whatever my kind of base chance to hit was, and I'm going to be reducing it by one number. Now, I don't want to be cheeky and just say, kind of take chance to hit and say -1, because if the chance, or I'm sorry, -5, because if the chance to hit is already at 0 or something, I might get something kind of weird. So let's make sure to compute this on our own. So this is going to be our evasion +1. That's our chance to hit. So now I just need to change this in order to be our chance to hit here. So I think you can already see some pretty decent effects. Ooh. Not all of it, just the, there we go. Okay, well, in this enemy, it doesn't seem to make a big difference, does it? Like my minimum damage goes down. I mean, like, obviously my maximum damage goes down the most, but it's not enough to make a change. Let's take a look at it with one of our lower level enemies. No, it's really not making any real difference at all. I mean, it's like reducing our chance to hit by 5%, but I wonder if that's really only important if you start getting up into these areas where the attack modifier is really big. Because now, like, the chance of being hit's at 90%. And so, this kind of 5% reduction, it's actually not really helping us that much, is it? Yeah, I mean, like, no, it's not any better at all. And see, this is why we do this. This is why we play with these different type of variables and actually just graph it out, because I would have thought that evasion could have helped you to just not be hit at all, but it actually looks like if you just can get over that that health jump to number 7, it will then allow you to survive 3 attacks at like that highest level, right? And so then you'll get into a really big survivability jump. Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to thank everyone who's here for joining me, and anyone who decides to come and watch later. I'm about 2 hours in, so I think I'm going to call it here for tonight. If we go back at our to-dos, we add a min-max to our damage. No, we didn't do that. But we did add a min-max to survivability, and we are prepared to make charts. And so I'm going to say make survivability. I will do that at the beginning of the next round. I think we're good on that. And so probably next time we'll make some survivability charts off of this, kind of data here to kind of show which ones kind of better to get when you first level up. And again, these thresholds I'm at now, I almost do want to map them just to say, like, what if they were bigger? And that shouldn't be too hard. I just need to copy this down twice, and in my equation here, I would just need to add 2 onto the thresholds, and then like we can kind of play that out. And also, it kind of seems like the more that we play with this, it might be nice to have a monsters drop down tab and just have the monster that you want to go against here, and then that will automatically populate in the damage calculator, in the kind of chance to hit, and also in their survivability, and in this evasion versus armor slot. And I need to change this to say comparing HP, armor, and evasion. I need to come up with a better name for that. But yeah, it does feel like I should probably just make a whole new tab for enemies, huh? And then I just let you kind of choose which enemy that you're going up against, and it would automatically fill this out. I think that'd be helpful. Okay, and then let's just look back at our to-dos. Yeah, if anyone can think of a better way to do this, it's been kind of like a problem for me. At the end of the day, I need to be able to limit these options to 1 -1, 2 zeros, and 2 ones, and 1 2. And right now, after you've chosen all of them, if you do this drop down, there's nothing in here to pick, because the way I'm doing it is, I'm going to jump over here real quick to my, where's it at? So I'm just going to drag this over here so you can look at it. Is, if you look right here, there's absolutely nothing there. But if I delete this one, it will now put 1 0 there. And then as I delete these, it will then create, more and more options in here. And then as they get chosen, like I pick 1 1, I then delete that, right? And so then that's not in the drop down list for the others. The problem is, after you pick it, it gives you this error because it says that that's not an option because I've now removed it. But I can easily think of a way to only allow 2s, 1s, 0s, and -1s, but I can't think of an easy way to only allow the numbers that are remaining. And then also you get into this weird place where after they're all picked, if you want to change this one, I need to be able to change it to blank in order to allow me to then go and pick it elsewhere, right? And so if anybody knows how to do that, or like a kind of good way to approach that, please drop me a comment, or I don't, get in touch with me. But either way, like whether you were here live or you're or you're taking a peek afterwards, I very much appreciate it. I enjoy doing this, and I hope it's enjoyable for you too, and that it informs your gaming. If there's any other games that you'd like for me to take a look at as well, please add that in the comments. I'm currently thinking about doing I think it's called Deep Rock Galactic or something. But yeah, I'll be kind of digging into a couple more games here, probably beginning this next week after I get through my first round of analysis with Daggerheart. And like, there's not much else to do. But until next time, you take care, and thanks again.